What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Tunji's podcast. I'm your host, Tunji Taylor Lewis. Most of you guys are going to be seeing this or listening to this on a Friday. So happy Friday to everybody. We made it, y'all. Another work week is done. It was hard. It was tough. We had to persevere. We had to strive, but damn it, we made it. And it's an unbelievable feeling. Also, happy 4th of July, or happy belated 4th of July to all my American followers. Hope y'all had an amazing time barbecuing and fireworking and whatever you guys do on 4th of July. I'm Canadian, so we have Canada Day up here, but I've never really celebrated it that much. It's kind of just like a day off from work. So happy Friday, happy 4th of July. So many things to celebrate. Today I want to talk about an idea that has ran through my head for a while, which is the idea of everything has a cost, right? Every good thing that I have in my life, every good thing that you have in your life, any good thing that comes into our lives, they're huge blessings, but we had to give up something to get it, right? As a quick example, me and my relationship with my girl, Sade. Amazing relationship. Has enhanced my life so many ways. I feel more loved. I feel more supported. I feel like I'm in a personal relationship with somebody who I don't just love, but I also like so many great elements to me being in this personal relationship. But there is a small cost to it, which is that I'm never on time for stuff. Right? So that was something I had to learn early in our relationship, is because I used to be the person who was very, very, I was on the ball. Like somebody says, be here for 6 o'clock, be here for 2:30, 6:45, whatever the time may be. I'm either on time or I'm early. That's just how I operate. She, on the other hand, she does not operate that way at all. She tends to be, let's just put it this way, she can be pretty late for stuff. And so, at a point like this, you have to analyze, what you're getting and what you're giving up. Okay, I feel loved, I feel supported, all this good stuff. And in order to get all of this amazing stuff, I'm just never going to be on time for events or functions and stuff like that. That's a pretty good deal. And that's why I'm happy in my relationship, is because the deal is so, dang good that, it's a no-brainer. At the beginning of the relationship, I definitely had to adjust to it, to not get too upset or frustrated by it. But when I thought about it in the way that I'm explaining it right now, how good of a deal it is, you know what? Cool. It's a fair thing to have to give up in order to get all this other stuff that I'm getting with the relationship, right? But sometimes, in life, the things that you have to give up to get other things, aren't that easy. Like a lot of times, it's a lot harder. As I said in the first podcast of this week, when I was talking about my family moving away to Toronto, that's what I had to give up. I basically gave up being around my family, which means everything to me, in order to pursue my personal career and pursue my personal dream. Just as a review, my family, my parents made the decision that they're moving out to Toronto with my other siblings, and I had to make a decision whether I wanted to go with them or not. And the reason why I chose not to go out there was because I wanted to pursue my dreams of being an actor, entertainer, and I felt like staying in Vancouver was the best way. It was the best choice to make as far as going in that direction, and so I chose to stay. But that was a very, 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 very difficult decision to make. And it definitely, as Steve Harvey would say, took a chunk of meat off my leg. You know what I mean? That was a very, very, tough decision to make. And, I think that that's kind of what life is. Like, life is just a series of decisions that you have to make. And you just have to decide whether giving up something is in order to potentially get something greater is worth it, as opposed to staying in a situation that is going to keep you stagnant and is going to keep you, from moving forward in your life. Another example for me was track and field. Giving up track and field in order to fully concentrate on theater. That one was a little bit more of an easier decision to make, if I'm being completely honest, because I started off doing well in track and field. Like, I was like, one of the, top sprinters, like in my province, and then I guess by default, in the country of Canada. But then I got injured, and for the next 5 years after that injury, I just was never the same. Didn't have the same level of confidence, didn't have the same level of speed, wasn't improving that much. And it was heartbreaking to have to go through that, because I'm a very, very competitive person, and I hate losing. Like, I absolutely hate losing. But after going through it for 5 years, I just had to accept the fact that I was never going to be, the Olympic sprinter that I dreamed of being. However, I did have this little thing going on called improv comedy that I was good at and I was gifted at. No matter how nervous I was before shows, I tended to do well. So I thought, you know what? At least I have this thing to like keep myself busy while I'm adjusting to life without track and field. Let me just go ahead and do that. And in hindsight, that was absolutely the right decision. Not just because I chose something that I was good at over something that I wasn't good at over anymore, but because a lot of the things that I learned from track and field transferred into improv comedy. So like the principles I learned from track, getting up and going to train every single day, focusing on the little things, not cheating yourself, just the discipline of improving and getting better. I took those principles and applied it to improv comedy. Like, I was every day finding a new way to improve upon my skills, which was like, doing like improv exercises online, or later when I got into the more professional realm, going to watch, professional shows and try to learn as much as I can, watching as many videos as I could out online, watching different types of comedy so that I could be inspired by different characters and, just find different things, the discipline of it, and not just leaving it up to chance whether I was going to perform well or not. That's what you learn in track. So even though the performance side didn't pan out when I was on the track, it panned out when I was on the stage, because like at the end of the day, that was my gift. That's the thing that I'm discovering in life as well, is like when you give up something, like a lot of times, like, track is one example, but it's happened to me several times where I gave up track. And at that point, I had done it for like 7 or 8 years. And I was just like, praying to God, like, well, like, Lord, like, if I wasn't supposed to do track, why the hell was I, in this situation for so long? Like, it just feels like a huge waste. But that's actually not true. Like, there's a lesson to be taken, or there is a benefit that's going to come from all the time and effort you put into that last situation. It's just not going to, pan out the way you think it's supposed to, or the way you imagine it. And, I didn't think that this was going to get spiritual, but hey, this is just how the podcasts go. That's why you just gotta, just like honestly, just that's why I always let God just be in control of everything, because like He is the ultimate mastermind. He knows the plan. He knows how this is gonna go. He knows what I want better than I do. So, even in times that I don't understand, times when I don't get it, I just chuck it up to Him and just be like, hey God, you got this thing. I'm more trust in you. So that's all the time I have for today, y'all. Peace out. Thanks for listening. Thanks